During this time of pandemic, our offering has changed from a sharing of monetary gifts to the sharing of stories, passions, and opportunities. Because we know that we are in a Kairos moment, a time when humanity will either act and help heal the earth or not. Rich Godfrey offers a word about our participation in the healing of creation's brokenness.
Thank you for this moment. I always look to Jeff for leadership, so I'm going to look around every time I change a slide. And the first slide is a poem. St. Francis of Assisi was a fascinating, extraordinary man in the 12th and 13th century. And he was also known, he's still known as a patron saint of ecology. So in this poem, he says, "Praised be you, my Lord, with all your creatures, especially Sir Brother Sun, who is a day and through whom you give us light. And he is beautiful and radiant with great splendor and bears a likeness of you, Most High One." So I wish, if I could, to talk about living in nature. And nature's, of course, all around us. It's interesting to know that we have somewhere around 37 trillion cells in our body. We also have an equal number of bacteria and 10 times as many viruses in our body. Now, I haven't counted them all one by one. You need a powerful microscope. Actually, you need an electron microscope if you're going to count the viruses, but they're essential to life. You cannot have pregnancy and then have a child if it weren't for viruses. They're part of our existence. Bugs, I have to confess, often, in fact, yesterday I went to my compost pit and I took a pitchfork and opened it up and I discovered really not as many as I thought, but I found 3 really, really good friends. There were beetles, there were sow bugs, and red worms. Red worms are among my favorite of all because they really help to break down the compost, to get soil, to amend your soil. So really, if you think about it, if you go into your backyard, you don't have to go to Yosemite, you don't have to go to the Antarctic or the Arctic. Nature's right there in your backyard. So, once again, gratitude. I probably should feel more gratitude than I do, but I know there are special moments when I'm feeling tension or when I'm feeling sometimes problems or depression or concern. I find a seat, sometimes in the backyard, sometimes in the front yard, and I just look at trees. And I feel an extraordinary joy. And I know the joy comes from the gratitude. And it's there for all of us all the time. So another part of this poem from St. Francis, "Praise be you, my Lord, through sister, moon, and the stars. In heaven, you formed them clear and precious and beautiful." So this is a photo from the backyard. As you can see, the stars seem to be in motion, and so it's a time-lapse photograph. But especially at night, there's that opportunity to appreciate the just infinite mystery of life, just watching the stars, and I find that very comforting. And then the question comes up, well, did Jesus carry a cell phone? And I really believe they're useful. I want to thank Susie Claxton, who's a leader in the Green Team. She always reminds me when I have a Kairos moment or something I have to present. I usually have forgotten and I need to be reminded. So she gave me this reminder, "Rich, did you put together anything for the Kairos moment?" And of course, then she saw the PowerPoint and she said, "Oh, and by the way, Rich, if he did have a cell phone, could you give me the contact?" And of course, we all know that Jesus didn't need a cell phone. He's in all of our hearts, and we can communicate with him anytime and all the time. And no cell phones are needed. But there are good times to turn your cell phone off. And for me, one of those times is when I go into my backyard and I spend time with the bees. And bees have taught me so much about the fascinating parts of collaborating and working together. I invite anybody who ever wants to learn more about bees, come to my backyard. You have to dress for the occasion. The bees will share some of their special fluids with you if you don't, but you're always welcome. But I think the other thing, E.O. Wilson once pointed out, if you really want to see some nature, just go to your backyard and do a count. And it's a great exercise for children to see, well, let's see how many species and how many things you can count. Sometimes we look at the mammals. The squirrels eat all of my apricots, but it's fun to watch them, and there's so many opportunities. So I just want to finish with some gratitude to all of you for listening to me. This is another opportunity in my backyard. If you go over that fence, you're in the Vargas Plateau, and cell phones don't work there. So you'll have a moment to go for a walk and to explore the beautiful parts of our open spaces of the city of Fremont. And I want to thank you all for this chance to share a Kairos moment.